When I was little, they told us that money would fix everything. Money, they said, could open any door. Money could make people listen to you. Money could protect you from pain. I believed them. I really did. Because from where I stood, the people who had money looked happy. They looked safe. They looked like they belonged in this world. I grew up in a place where we counted coins before buying bread. Where vacations didn't exist and birthdays meant borrowed gifts. Where love was spoken in sacrifices, not things. So naturally, I believed that if I could just make enough money, life would get easier. I would be confident. I would travel. I would find love, I would feel enough. But no one warned me that the chase could become a trap, that I might spend years climbing a ladder leaning against the wrong wall. When I was 28, I started my own business. It wasn't glamorous. I helped people create online systems, workflows, emails, automations, behind-the-scenes stuff. In the beginning, I made just enough to survive. Then slowly, things got better. I learned. I adapted. I built systems that worked while I slept. And before I realized it, I had something most people craved: time. Freedom, not riches, not luxury, but space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to live. At the time, I was living in Melbourne, renting a small flat with a view of the skyline. I'd work in the mornings, then spend the afternoons walking along the river, listening to music, sometimes sketching in my notebook. I didn't have much, but I was peaceful until I met Mia. She was a dentist, elegant, smart, polished, the kind of person who ordered wine with confidence and wore heels without flinching. We met at a bar near my apartment one Thursday evening. A friend had dragged me out, said I needed to act my age and socialize more. Mia and I clicked quickly. We laughed about the terrible music, shared stories of awkward first dates. And when she learned I worked online, she leaned in with curiosity. "You must be doing well," she said. "All that freedom." I shrugged. "I get by." She smiled, then added almost casually, "I make around 300,000 a year." I blinked. "Wow, that's impressive." She nodded, but her eyes drifted for a moment like she was somewhere else. I told her I was flying to Brisbane the next day. "For work?" she asked. "No, just to visit a friend." "I don't have to work Fridays." She stared at me as if I'd said something unreal. "You don't work Fridays?" "Not always, sometimes just a couple hours." That's when it happened. Her face shifted, not with judgment, but something softer. Jealousy, longing. "I wish I had that," she whispered. I laughed when she said it, not to mock her, just in disbelief. "Really? You can afford anything you want. You don't have to think about bills." "Why would you want my life?" Mia swirled her drink slowly, then looked at me. "I don't have time," she said quietly. "That's the thing no one tells you. I can buy what I want, but I don't even know what I'd do with it. I spend my days inside fluorescent clinics. I work late. The only thing I spend money on is massages because I'm always tense." That moment stayed with me for a long time. I had always assumed money meant arrival. It meant peace. It meant freedom. But Mia, with all her success and wealth, looked more trapped than I'd ever been. I walked home that night thinking about the things we chase and the price we pay for them. What if the world had been selling us the wrong dream all along? There's this myth we grow up with, especially as men. The myth that money gets you the girl. That if you just make enough, you'll finally be loved. Finally be chosen. It's not completely wrong. Money can help. It can show stability, ambition that you can build, but it doesn't guarantee love, not the kind that stays. I've had women look at me differently when they found out I worked for myself. But the ones who stayed, they stayed for something else. They stayed because I listened, because I laughed, because I made them feel safe. Money might open a door, but connection, real soul-deep connection, that's what keeps people in the room. I once dated someone who made more than me. Another time, someone who made far less. In both cases, money didn't decide the love. We did. And if you think money will finally make you lovable, I want to tell you something I wish I heard years ago. You are already lovable without proving, without earning, just as you are. The second lie we're told is that freedom is expensive, that you need millions in your account to travel, to explore, to breathe. but here's the truth. I traveled across Southeast Asia, Europe, and Australia while making $40,000 a year. Not backpacking through hostels, but living well, eating fresh food, walking through ancient cities, working from cozy cafes. I flew to Thailand once for less than $450. I lived in Lisbon for 3 months paying less than rent back home. Freedom isn't about luxury, it's about design. It's about choosing a life that fits you, not someone else's Instagram. And it's about remembering that the best moments in life, the sunsets, the conversations, the walks in new cities, they cost nothing. You don't need to be rich to feel alive, you just need to wake up. Then there's the biggest one of all. When I have money, I'll finally feel confident. I used to believe this. I thought confidence came in the form of leather wallets and upgraded flights. But confidence has nothing to do with money. Confidence comes from experience, from following through on your word, from failing and standing back up, from doing scary things even when your voice shakes. Yes, starting a business can build confidence because of what you become in the process, but money itself, money just sits there. It can't look you in the eye and say, you're enough. Only you can do that. And here's something else. I've never felt more confident than when I knew who I was, even when I had less. It wasn't about the number in my bank account. It was about the belief in my own worth, whether I had $4 or $40,000. When I met Mia, I realized something strange. She had the life people dream of, but she didn't feel it. She couldn't enjoy it. She was waiting for permission to slow down, to breathe, to live. And I wonder how many of us are doing the same, chasing, running, proving, hoping that money will one day give us a life we already had access to but were too distracted to claim. I'm not here to tell you not to make money, build wealth, create freedom, but don't make money your identity. Don't let it be the reason you believe you're finally allowed to rest, because money can't love you. It can't hold you when you're lonely. It can't laugh with you under the stars. It can't sit beside you in silence and make you feel whole. Only people can do that. Only purpose can do that. Only presence can do that. Today, I make more than I used to. My business has grown. Opportunities have come. I've invested well. But I never forgot what it felt like to have little and still feel rich. Rich in time, rich in peace, rich in knowing who I am. Mia and I kept in touch for a while. She later told me she took a break from her job, traveled, learned how to slow down. She said she still doesn't know how to spend her money, but she's learning how to spend her days better. Sometimes that's all we really need. Not more money, but a better way to live, a better question to ask, instead of, how can I make more? Try, what do I truly want my life to feel like? Because maybe what you want isn't more money. Maybe it's what you thought money would give you. Love, freedom, confidence, peace. But those things don't live in your wallet, they live in you. Where are you listening from? What is your relationship with money, and what has it taught you? Let me know in the comments. And if this story helped you see things differently, share it with someone who needs to hear, you are enough, even without the numbers. More slow, emotional English stories are coming soon. Thank you for being here.